It seems like we say it every offseason, but this offseason was truly the craziest the transfer portal has ever been. It seemed like every day there were new players coming and going. Your favorite team likely lost a couple of really good pieces, but your favorite team also likely gained some really talented pieces as well. Every week, I'm releasing videos talking about 10 players who transferred to new programs that are going to make huge impacts at their new school. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting college football videos every day leading up to the start of the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Did your school land a really solid player in the portal this offseason that should be included in these lists? Drop a comment down below and I'll make sure to include them in my next video. We'll kick off today's video with one of the bigger wide receiver names who transferred this offseason in Dantecephas. He transferred from Kent State to Penn State. He had a pretty prolific career with the Golden Flashes. In only 9 games last season, he caught 50 passes for 750 yards with 3 receiving touchdowns. 2021 was by far his best season, where he emerged as one of the top wide receivers in all of college football. He caught over 80 passes for 1,200 yards with 9 receiving touchdowns. Over the last 2 seasons, Cephas has 6 games with at least 9 receptions and 10 games with at least 100 receiving yards, including a game last season where he caught 13 passes for 250 yards. There are a lot of expectations surrounding Drew Allar and this Penn State offense this year. Adding Dantecephas will be a huge addition for the Nittany Lions. Florida State added the #1 tight end and the #8 overall player in the 24/7 transfer ratings in Jaheim Bell. He had a solid career with South Carolina, but opted to transfer this offseason. Over the last 3 years, he played in 30 games and made 11 starts. He caught 56 passes for 750 yards with 7 touchdowns, while adding 300 yards on the ground with 3 scores. Florida State killed it in the portal this offseason, and Jaheim Bell was one of their best additions. Iowa added a new quarterback in former Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara. Based on the quarterbacks that have suited up for the Hawkeyes over the last few years, this is a massive upgrade. McNamara led the Wolverines to a playoff berth in 2021. He threw for over 2,500 yards with 15 passing touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Not groundbreaking numbers by any means, but he delivered the best season for Michigan in quite some time. And not to mention, when you've seen some of the quarterbacks who have suited up for Iowa over the last couple of seasons, this is a huge addition. With Cade McNamara under center, Iowa's offense should be a whole lot better in 2023. I talked about Florida State picking up some key pieces in the portal, but they also lost a couple as well. One player they lost was running back Treshaun Ward, who transferred to Kansas State. He put together a solid campaign for the Noles in 2022, as he rushed for over 600 yards while averaging nearly 7 yards a carry. He rushed for a career-high 7 touchdowns. The year prior, he rushed for over 500 yards, averaging 6.5 yards a carry with 4 rushing scores. He also caught 22 passes for 200 yards with a receiving touchdown. After Kansas State lost Deuce Vaughn to the NFL draft, adding a solid veteran back will be a huge boost for their offense. Oklahoma State will have a brand new starting quarterback in Alan Bowman. This will be his 3rd stop as he spent time with Texas Tech and Michigan. His best season came all the way back in 2018 when he started as a true freshman for the Red Raiders. In only 8 games that year, he completed 69% of his passes, throwing for 2,600 yards with 17 passing touchdowns. Over his next 2 seasons, Bowman appeared in only 11 games, but still threw for 2,600 yards with 16 passing touchdowns. After 3 seasons at Tech, he transferred to Michigan, where he spent 2 years there. He barely saw the field as he attempted only 11 passes over the last 2 seasons. He'll get his final shot with Oklahoma State, where I think he has a chance to have a really solid campaign. TCU added former Alabama wide receiver JoJo Earl. Coming out of high school, he was one of the top wide receiver recruits in the entire nation. He didn't really do much during his time in Alabama though, as he only caught 24 passes for 300 yards with 2 scores over the course of 2 seasons. Injuries kept him off the field, along with a pretty stacked wide receiver room. We'll see what he's able to do with a fully healthy season under his belt. Indiana added a pretty solid player on defense in former Western Michigan defensive end Andre Carter. He had a big year in 2022 as he racked up 70 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hurries, 7 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He also had an interception and a safety. He was second-team All-MAC for his performance in 2022. Carter had some offers from pretty big teams, including Ole Miss, Auburn, and Nebraska. Ultimately, though, he chose Indiana. Ole Miss recently made a pretty big splash in the portal as they picked up one of the top wide receivers from the entire portal this offseason in Zachary Franklin. After a really successful career with UTSA, he opted to transfer to an SEC team for his final season. During his 4 years with the Roadrunners, Franklin caught 262 passes for 3,300 yards and 37 receiving touchdowns. He was solid during his first 2 seasons, but what he's done over the last 2 years has him as one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. In 2021, he caught 81 passes for over 1,000 yards with 12 receiving touchdowns. He managed to surpass that in 2022 by catching 94 passes for 1,100 yards with 15 receiving touchdowns. I'm not sure who's going to be the starting quarterback for Ole Miss or how their offense is going to look in 2023, but adding a guy like Franklin is quite the addition. Michigan landed former Nebraska linebacker Ernest Hausman. He was the number 14 overall linebacker in the portal according to On3. He played in every game for the Cornhuskers as a true freshman and started 7 games. He had 2 tackles for loss, a sack, a fumble recovery to go along with 54 total tackles. We'll wrap up this video with a very interesting quarterback transfer in Shedeur Sanders. He transferred after a really solid career with Jackson State. I'm sure he's going to be good for Colorado next year, but there are already talks of him being a potential Heisman candidate, so we might want to pump the brakes there just a bit. He helped Jackson State to a 23-3 record as the starting quarterback. They won 2 SWAC championships with him under the helm. Sanders holds Jackson State records for season passing touchdowns with 40 and completions with 344. And he's second in passing yards with just under 3,800. In 2 years as the starting quarterback for Jackson State, he threw for 7,000 yards with 70 touchdowns with just 14 interceptions. Like I said, I'm sure the production's going to be there, but it's going to be interesting to see how a change of scenery impacts his play. Well, that wraps it up for today's top 10 list. Did your school land a really solid player in the portal that should have been included on one of these lists? Drop a comment down below and I'll make sure to include them in my next video. Before you leave, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos every day leading up to the start of the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.